Hi everyone, and welcome to today's General Hospital recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. I know, I'm here. The sun is still out. What has happened? Although if I have to film this one more time. Hi ECAT. See, ECAT wanted to say hi. Real fast before I start today's recap, I know ECAT's just not having it today. I just want to do a little PSA, be safe thing. Cause I don't know where everyone is. I know there's a lot of you, but just be careful with all this creepy clown stuff going on. Because it's really, really scary and creepy, and now they're in New Jersey, and they're uncomfortably close to where I am, although anywhere in the tri-state area I deem uncomfortably close because I saw the first 10 minutes of it when I was 13, and I'm absolutely terrified of clowns, and I have been for over a decade, haha. But yeah, so it just, if you see one of these clowns, just call police because they've been seen with weapons, including guns and knives, and just don't approach. I believe someone was killed in Pennsylvania. I believe a clown was also at least shot. I don't know if killed, but and if you're a younger person or someone who just don't dress up as a clown and go out and be part of this prank, because even if you're someone with not bad intentions and it just seems fun, a lot of people like me and are just very on edge, and you could get hurt. So just stay away from this whole thing. And oh my goodness, the whole thing is just way too scary and way too real, and it just needs to stop 5 minutes ago. But let's get to today's General Hospital recap before I totally freak you out. I just wanted to, as someone, we have quite an audience here, and I felt compelled to talk about it since it doesn't seem like it's going away. Not okay. They invaded my dream last night. I had a dream about the clowns. It's not cool. But let's get right to it. So at Casa Corinthos, Sunny apparently had to take a call, and Carly asked if he's lying about not going after Julian. So poor Carly thought this was her biggest I can't even think, problem of the day. Little does she know, right? So Morgan comes home an absolute mess, and he smells like smoke, and he says that he was studying with the guys, and they don't believe it for a second, because they may have been born at night, but they weren't born last night. So, the dean calls Sunny while Morgan's upstairs taking the fastest shower in the world, and Sunny appreciates his help getting Morgan into PCU, and then the dean just Dean in general, hey, we need to call Sam and Dean, maybe they can stop this whole clown thing. So they find out Morgan was expelled, and Sunny thanks him for calling. Turns out, yes, they have proof that he plagiarized the paper. So Morgan comes downstairs like nothing happened, and Sunny's like, hey, when were you going to tell us you got expelled? So the dean apparently had apologized to Sunny that he couldn't do more to prevent it, but with the zero tolerance policy, there was just nothing he could do. So Morgan says that he couldn't focus and write the paper, so yeah, he cheated, and he turns it on them and says he didn't want to tell them because they'd be ashamed of him, so it's their fault he didn't tell them. So he says that, look, nothing's working. I go to all my therapy sessions, I take all my medication, and just nothing's working. I'm not getting better, and I'm never going to get better. And he's angry and spiraling and storms out, and Carly wants to go after him, but Sunny's like, no, we gotta give him space. So Carly calls Andre, and turns out, yes, he has been going to all his appointments, and he even has a blood test to go to, and Sunny knows something's off. He just can't put his finger on it. So Sunny kind of chalks it up to Morgan not being ready for school, and Carly's worried that he'll never be ready for life or anything, and that Morgan's totally regressed. And Sunny promises Carly that Morgan will have a happy and healthy life. At the floating rib, Scott isn't super enthusiastic about representing Paul, to the point where he kind of forgot to pick Ava up, so she had to find her own way. So then they leave the floating rib. Doesn't take long. So also at the floating rib, Claudette definitely isn't stalking Griffin, but she just happens to find him at the floating rib. What are the chances? Apparently they have good biscuits and gravy, and what rib place opens, a bar rib place opens for breakfast? That just makes no sense. Just as a business, why you think you're gonna have that much traffic? Are there only 3 places to eat? Well, yeah, no. Are they Perks and Kelly's? No, Kelly's and the floating rib, are those the only 2 places to eat? And then Perks is just for coffee. It's just one of those days. I can't do this at in the daytime now. It's weird. So he asked about the man she's trying to get away from. And she's like, how'd you know that? And he's like, well, Maxie told me, but she wouldn't tell me the story. She told me to come to you for the story. So she starts telling her story, says she was overwhelmed when Charlotte, see, I told you this was going to be too complicated, Claudette, Charlotte. They just look too similar. So when Charlotte was born, she felt overwhelmed, and then a neighbor offered to watch Charlotte, and she dressed up and went to a nightclub. So Claudette fell walking into the club because she had her super high heels on and her dress on, and she was just walking past all the peasants because she knew she looked so good, and then she fell, and I'm sure they all laughed at her, but a handsome man caught her, and he stayed with her all night, and then pictures of them were all over the internet, and then suddenly he changed. So he became very intimidating. He got cold and threatened to kill her and Charlotte, and Griffin says, well, at least you have Nathan to protect Charlotte. And then do what she tells Griffin. Are you ready? You know what she tells Griffin? She says that she wishes Charlotte was their daughter and not Nathan's. Wow. That's just a really, no, not okay. Not okay with that at all. That's just such a horrible thing to say. So, in the jail, Jordan comes to see Paul, and he's wearing his beautiful Pentonville prison orange jumpsuit, and she's, like, after him. She brings up Sloane, and how he didn't do any of this for Susan, he did it for himself, and then Ava and Scott come to visit, and Ava says Scott is defending him, and Paul's like, really? And Scott's like, well, I did win the Julie and Jerome case, and Paul's like, really? So Paul says he already has a lawyer. He's going to be his own lawyer. And all I can think of is Major Crimes right now. Like, did you watch this past season, Major Crimes, at least the B season? Oh my goodness, am I right? What is going on with this eye? This eye is not being cooperative today. So, Paul, okay, so Scott leaves, and he knows that Ava was trying to bribe him with freedom, or apparently, and he asks what she really wants. So she wants a flash drive. He already knew that. Like, you don't have to ask that question. Seriously, what is going on with this eye? Is it just a shadow? I'm not okay with this. I need another lantern because this isn't working. So she's offering him his freedom for her freedom. Okay, just because Scott's his lawyer doesn't mean that he'd go free. Like, she has to influence the other side. Like, does she not? The classic Ava offering stuff that she doesn't have, to give. So anyway, like, she can't guarantee it. It just bothers me. So she doesn't want Paul to drag her down with him. And she says that they're both the same. They do questionable and terrible things to protect their daughters. Who will protect her daughters when she's gone? I know, the biggest eye roll. So she won't condone his actions, but she understands, and he knows he deserves to be punished for what he did. And he's relieved, almost. And he thinks the same is true for her. That she needs to be punished for what she's done. And I'm like, you know what, Paul? Bitter about Sabrina. Bitter about, other stuff, I guess. I wasn't personally connected to pretty much any. Well, by the way, you know what? I'll bring that up at the end. Just remind me. But if Paul can bring Ava down with him, maybe, it just, this whole thing won't be for naught, So at the Metro Court, Nina wants to name her future child Hopper. And Curtis isn't a fan. He's not having any luck finding her a baby anyway. And she has an idea. Go international. And he is super not on board. Like, at all. And Nina's like, fine, I'll do things myself. And I'm like, you know what? You have fun with that, Nina. Also, at the Metro Court, Nell is trying to get Shawn Mendes tickets for Jocelyn's birthday for Carly. And Kiki talks to her, tells her that, oh, me and Dylan actually sang a Shawn Mendes song at the nurses' ball, and Carly is offering the whole, like, penthouse floor of the Metro Court for him, and she winds up getting 4 tickets. Woo! So Michael comes in. He's subdued. He just found out Paul murdered Sabrina, so he doesn't think Dylan knew, because Kiki's like, you don't think Dylan, like, he definitely didn't, but he just can't wrap his head around this, and Kiki's gonna call Dylan, and Nell's like, well, what are you gonna do, Michael, because he seems like, I don't know, something's not quite right, but nothing's been right for Michael for, at least 2 weeks now. So Michael can't believe, like, Paul was so close, like, and he had the nerve to come to the funeral, and Nell tells him that, Paul's gonna pay for what he did. Like, at least he's caught. And then the Julian case getting undermined gets brought up. And, what's to stop the next DA from undermining Paul's case and letting him go? And Michael feels he needs to step in. So Kiki calls Dylan to check in and leaves another voicemail. Morgan hears and is like, oh, you have time for Dylan, but not me. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, like... I know he's not in control. So, like, I know, but I know, it's just, I'm just being torn into a million pieces. So Kiki asks if he heard what happened. Dylan's father is the hospital killer and was arrested, so, like, it's not like she's calling Dylan for fun. So she says, plus, I called you back after my shift ended, and you never called me. So who doesn't have time for who, huh? So he tells her that he got expelled. At the PCPD, Curtis got Jordan a lottery ticket per their tradition when they were partners, when one had, like, a win. And I'd say catching the hospital killer is a win. So she credits him with the profile, and he asks if it's good enough to be on the force. So we know what the rest of this conversation is going to be. So we actually get, like, the full story of what exactly happened between Jordan and Curtis. So it turns out they were on a stakeout together, and she needed backup because she followed a lieutenant in, like, the cartel or something into, like, a warehouse type thing or something, and she needed backup, and he wasn't in the car. He was buying drugs on the corner. So... she didn't have backup. And he says, look, I screwed up, but nothing was supposed to happen that night. So, how was I supposed to know to stay in the car and do my job? So he expected for them to work it out between them, but she turned him in. And Curtis feels Jordan cost him his career. And I'm like, no, you did. I don't like this. I don't like this mentality of the person who's trying to make things right did the wrong thing. No, you did the wrong thing. You cost your career. You shouldn't have been doing drugs on the job. And he feels that she should have taken the blow to her career because she could have handled it. And she says she was worried about his life and the lives of the cops around him. Like, what if next time it was, like, a rookie that he left out? Like, well, she didn't say that. I'm saying that. And he feels that after all this time, she finally feels bad for it, but she doesn't feel bad for turning him in. And it turns out that the force actually offered him a suspension when he went to rehab, but he wouldn't do that, so he was terminated. So again, double your fault, Curtis. Like, I literally have no sympathy for him right now. At Nathan and Maxie's, Nathan made some inquiries and turns out Valentine is still in prison, which means he should be able to see Charlotte. And Maxie still holds that they don't know exactly whose daughter she is. Maxie's skeptical about the lock of hair. They only have Claudette's word that that's Charlotte's hair. And he has all intentions to do another DNA test, right? From Charlotte herself. So Maxie doesn't want Charlotte getting hurt, and Nathan doesn't want Charlotte to feel rejected because he knows how he felt when his whole family secret came out. So Nina comes in, and she wants the wedding binder. She has big ideas, like a helicopter to take faux paparazzi photos to make them look like a celebrity wedding. I know. Nina's not going to be, but, like, as someone who literally just wants a tacky Vegas wedding, like, I don't understand these big weddings. Like, literally just destination, go dress up in something, like, full of tulle and, like, a tiara, and I don't know. That's my perfect wedding, to be quite honest with you. Lots of tulle and a tiara and rhinestones. You're all invited. Just find me someone. So Maxie says that they haven't had time to think about the wedding because things have come up. So they tell Nina all about Charlotte and everything, and she can't believe that Charlotte was kept away from Nathan for so long. And Nathan thinks Charlotte will live with them. And Maxie's like, how do you think Claudette's gonna feel about that? And he's like, okay, so joint custody. And Nina's like, look, this is gonna put a big strain on your relationship and marriage. And, like, I have an idea. And I'm like, ooh, I know what Nina's idea is. I just can't wait to hear it. So, end scene. Jordan says that she turned Curtis in for his own good. And he wants to be hired at the PCPD, but she doesn't trust him. And he says he's different, but it's not there. Claudette decides it's time for Nathan to meet Charlotte. Goody on you. Nina says that she'll take Charlotte. Sorry. I haven't had a good laugh in a while. Michael says, oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a part. So Kiki wants to talk to Morgan, like, and he is like, well, you didn't have time for me yesterday, and then he doesn't like how she's looking at him and leaves. And I'm like, and like, just, you can see running through her head everything she said to Franco yesterday, realizing this is it. Like, this is it. This is what it's gonna be. Michael says that he'll get justice for Sabrina. Nell calls the house to give Sunny and Carly a heads up about Michael's vendetta. And she says that Michael was upset to find out Paul Hornsby killed Sabrina. And Sunny's like, because that's news to Sunny. Ava makes a plea with Paul, and Paul calls Ava's daughters convenient, and that she plays the mom card. And I was like, I don't like you, but I like you a little more. And I'm glad that he sees through her, and Paul needs to tell Jordan something before she takes him to his arraignment. And I was like, ooh, I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to hear it. Please drag her down, Paul, please. I'll give you $1 million. Please drag her down with you. Alright, that is it for today's General Hospital recap. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad I got it in a little earlier today. And I will see you tomorrow for more General Hospital later. That is going to be a later day. But I hope you have a great day. And again, be safe and just please be safe.